Today's video is about two giant companies, but from different industries. I've chosen timeline from 2014 to 2018. Now, two different companies from two different backgrounds or two different industries. One is Microsoft, which pertains to software, and the other is Dell Technologies, which is into electronics. Now, why did I choose both these companies? Both these companies have almost a similar kind of reaction towards the market shifts. Now, what were the conditions back in 2014 to 2018, the 5-year time period? With respect to softwares, with respect to Microsoft, the softwares were slowly moving from one-time purchases, the lifetime purchases, to subscription model. And cloud computing was defining businesses. With respect to Dell Technologies, PCs were slowing down and smartphones were picking up. And not just that, personal computers were replaced by laptops. This is exactly where Dell has made a comeback. Both these companies have faced huge amount of criticism because of their reaction towards the market. Microsoft has eliminated a complete industry which it bought previously, and Dell has made one of the biggest acquisitions in the history of technology. Let us now look at the decisions that these companies have taken back in 2014 and their financial and strategic impact, market impact on these companies. Before 2014, the technology industry was dominated by personal computers, Windows software, one-time software licenses, traditional on-premise servers. Dell thrived because businesses and consumers were continuously purchasing computers and hardware. Microsoft thrived because nearly every PC was using Windows and Office. Then came the market shift. Consumers were increasingly buying smartphones and tablets. Cloud computing was replacing the traditional data centers, and companies started to rent their software than to buy them. Data virtualization, cloud infrastructure became more valuable than the standalone hardware. Old technology leaders now faced a dangerous question. The question is, how do you remain relevant when you don't have the capabilities that the market is demanding? This is where management becomes critical. A market shift by itself doesn't destroy a company. Poor decisions during a market shift will. Let us now look at the decisions that Microsoft had taken during the market shifts. Back in 2014, when Satya Nadella became the CEO of Microsoft, it took four strong decisions. The first decision was exit the smartphone war strategy. This is a smart move, my dear friends, because Microsoft understood that it could not wage a war and win against Apple and Google in the smartphone industry. Strategy number two, build Azure. Microsoft wanted to counter Amazon, the AWS services, on the cloud computing phase. Strategy number three, Microsoft Office was previously bought on a one-time subscription, but now, instead of relying on one-time subscription, Microsoft has come up with a monthly or a yearly subscription for softwares like Microsoft Office, and it launched Office 365, which is the fourth strategy. Microsoft started to revamp, rewire its working and processes. Microsoft was initially against the open source technologies, but then it understood the game and it changed its strategy. It actually embraced the open source technology. Two, it launched Microsoft Office 365. Three, it bought LinkedIn, which is a social media for employees and employers. That is a very smart decision. Now let us get into the financial statements of Microsoft and find out how these decisions have impacted the financial statements. This is the balance sheet of Microsoft. First, we can find the share capital has steadily increased. Despite restructuring, Microsoft has continued its share buybacks and dividends. This clearly demonstrates strong cash generation and financial confidence of the company. Of course, there will be an increase in long term and short term liabilities, and we can also find that there is an increase in intangible assets, which means that there is an increase in goodwill. There is an initial decrease in goodwill, and then there is an increase in intangible assets and goodwill. Here, the company has bought LinkedIn and many other related services. Okay, now let us look at the profit and loss statement. If we can look at the profit and loss of the company, we can find here that the phone division is not making any income, which clearly states that the company has painfully discarded Nokia. And LinkedIn services started to fetch good amount of revenues from 2017, which means that the company has done a great job in buying a social media platform like LinkedIn. We have impairment, integration, and restructuring going on, which means that the company has impaired its goodwill. This is because of the restructuring which is being done. Let us look at the net profits of the company. Initially, there was a decrease in net profits, but after 2015, 2016, there is an increase in net profit, and this is a very good sign. We can find that there is an increase in deferred and unearned revenues. This suggests growing subscriptions and long-term cloud contracts supporting the success of Office 365 and Azure. Most important decisions of Dell. They have taken four important decisions. The first decision is to go private. Michael Dell has taken a decision to go private and focus on long-term transformation. Decision number two, acquisition of EMC. By buying EMC, Dell could get access to storage, data integration, and VMware. Decision number three, VMware provided Dell with a powerful position in virtualization and cloud infrastructure. This is one of the smartest acquisitions that they have made in this deal. Instead of competing on low priced PCs, Dell has ventured into premium hardware. They have also ventured into gaming systems, and this gave them an advantage. Let us get into the financial statements of Dell. This is the balance sheet of Dell Technologies. Initially, the chairman, Michael Dell, of the Dell Technologies, has strategized to go private. That is why you're able to see a share capital of 20 here. But later on, after acquisitions, it had increased to 19,000 million. Reserves have declined while debt repayments became significant, which is suggesting that the management is actively managing the financial burden created by the acquisitions. We can also see the acquisition burden here in non-current liabilities. There is an increase from 10,000 to 60,000, my dear friends. And of course, there is also a tremendous increase in intangible assets, which is also because of acquisitions from 18,000 to 68,000. Okay, now let us look at the profit and loss statements. We can find that there is a complete restructuring here from 2016 to 2018. The revenue increased dramatically from approximately $24 billion to $61 billion. This reflects the scale added through the EMC acquisitions. Of course, there will be an increase in cost of revenues because the company is brimming with activities. There is a good amount of repayment with respect to the interest and finance cost. And we can find that the research and development has decreased significantly, but then later on it increased. This also is reflecting in the revenues that we have already seen here. Of course, there is a negative net profit here. But the acquisition of EMC and other companies has really given a boost to Dell Technologies. So these are the financial statements. We can find that the liabilities have increased significantly, which reflects the debt used to finance one of the largest acquisitions in the technical history. We can also find that the assets have increased. Dell became a much larger company and more diverse enterprise after the merger. And I can say that the financial statements show a company which is aggressively transforming itself through acquisitions. Now, let us look at the risks of these two companies. The first risk is risk of Azure. Microsoft has come up with new cloud computing back in 2014, but AWS was already in the race. And this definitely is a very big risk. Risk number two, transition from lifetime license to subscription model. This can reduce the profitability of the company. Risk number three, exiting from mobile division. Exiting from mobile division could bring in absence of Microsoft in the mobile industry. Risk number four, the CEO of Microsoft has decided to transform the internal culture from know it all to learn it all. Dell's risks. Risk number one, EMC's acquisition. Dell made a very risky proposition by buying a company like EMC. A $67 billion acquisition can prove to be fatal if EMC does not work out well. That is a very, very big risk which Dell had taken. Number two, the increase of debt. Since Dell did not have $67 billion, it obviously has borrowed that money. And that can be a very, very big risk. Risk number three, trying to merge different corporate cultures, completely different software ecosystems, conflicting supply chains, and overlapping sales commissions can result in a nightmare. If internal managers spend all their time fighting over corporate politics and trying to map outdated software system together, customer service drops, product shipping slows down, and competitors steal your market share. Risk number four, the enterprise technology might not grow as you think. Risk is that the tech companies often invest billions of dollars upfront building massive data centers, infrastructures, and advanced software, anticipating corporations will build and keep on building. If that enterprise grows slowly, the tech companies are left holding massive capital expenses with no matching revenues. Lesson number one, great leaders know when to quit. In case of Microsoft, Satya Nadella had taken a right decision at the right time. If they would not have discarded mobile phone division, they would have kept competing with companies like Apple and Google. Lesson number two, buying a company is easy. If you can't make something, you can still buy. But then, buying the right company is difficult. Dell made a very risky proposition and bought EMC and used VMware as a strategic agent. This is one of the smartest acquisitions, as I already mentioned. Acquisitions are only profitable when they can provide future capabilities the market demands. Lesson number three, a great past can become dangerous if it stops you from seeing your future vision. Thank you very much for watching my video. Don't forget to watch my other videos as well. Please explore our channel, yours financially, Padhishna.